Tyson just hit back at Jake Paul with a brutal response after Jake finally addressed the events of November 15th. Paul not only disrespected Tyson's legacy by spreading shocking rumors that the fight was rigged, but he also claimed Tyson participated out of financial desperation.
I've always been in the gym training. I'm a boxing professional fighters. Activity is great. I had 15 fights in 1 year when I was younger, and I think activity is great, but I'm prepared.
A global icon begging a YouTuber for money? Seriously? Let's be real. Does Jake even know the rules of boxing, or is he just making them up as he goes? At this point, it's obvious he has no clue what he's talking about. And now, he's about to deal with the fallout. The Tyson-Paul fight was the matchup no one asked for, yet somehow, everyone was glued to it.
Tyson is getting back in the ring. He's 58 years old. He's facing off against YouTuber-turned-boxer, 27-year-old Jake Paul.
News broke that 57-year-old Mike Tyson would be stepping into the ring against 27-year-old Jake Paul. The internet did a collective double-take. Was this a legitimate fight, or just the strangest midlife crisis ever? Critics didn't hesitate to call it a circus before the first bell even rang. But the controversy didn't stop at the age gap. On one side stood Tyson, a boxing legend. On the other, Jake Paul, a social media star turned boxer whose biggest skill seems to be staying relevant online. The matchup felt like mixing vintage wine with cheap soda. Then came Jake's most absurd claim, his so-called financial rescue theory. According to him, Tyson practically begged for the fight because he needed the money. Really, Jake? The same Mike Tyson who's built a cannabis empire and probably has more cash stuffed in his couch cushions than you have in your crypto wallet? Fans weren't buying it, and for good reason.
There is an alleged script leak. This has not been confirmed. Take it with a grain of salt. No one knows if this is real.
Just when the hype around the fight was finally fading, the so-called script leak emerged, and this wasn't just some wild Reddit theory. It was a detailed, round-by-round breakdown of exactly how the fight was supposedly scripted to unfold. According to the leak, Tyson would start strong with his signature bob and weave. Jake would weather the early storm, and by round 5, Tyson would hit the canvas after a perfectly timed right hook. It sounded like something straight out of a Hollywood screenplay. Fans were shocked, not just by how specific the leak was, but by how eerily accurate it turned out to be. Tyson looked slower, Jake seemed sharper, and even the prediction of Tyson suffering a cut above his eye came true. Suddenly, the fight didn't feel like pure boxing. It felt orchestrated, more like WrestleMania than a real competition.
That love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy.
Tyson remained unusually quiet. No fiery denials, no public outrage. It almost felt like he was letting the rumors simmer, or maybe even hunting down whoever leaked the so-called script. If a contract with a non-disclosure agreement really existed, someone was in serious trouble. But Jake, being Jake, couldn't resist adding fuel to the fire. On his podcast, he casually claimed he had eased off during the fight to avoid hurting Tyson, because, apparently, he was the real danger. That offhand comment spread faster than one of Tyson's legendary uppercuts. Was Jake admitting the fight was staged? Bragging? Or worse, too oblivious to realize he might have just exposed a career-ending secret? At this point, the Tyson-Paul fight wasn't just controversial. It was spiraling into infamy for all the wrong reasons. Fans weren't just questioning the match's legitimacy anymore. They were rewriting the entire story in their minds.
Exactly. I started to, matter of fact, thank you. I started Jake Paul off.
Mike Tyson's patience finally snapped, faster than Jake Paul's claims of being a legitimate boxer. After weeks of staying silent, while rigging accusations and leaked fight scripts spread like wildfire, Tyson decided enough was enough. But this time, he didn't use his fists. In an interview with Fox Sports Radio, the former heavyweight champ shut down the rumors, making it crystal clear that the fight was real. And he didn't just say it, he practically growled it, daring anyone to claim that taking 78 punches to the face was part of some elaborate stunt. Tyson wasn't just denying the allegations, he was furious. His message was simple. You don't fake waking up the next morning feeling like you got run over by a cement truck.
Look at my life as a legacy. Legacy to me means ego. Who the cares about my legacy? I'm going to be dead soon one day, but he's not going to win.
This wasn't just about the physical toll. Tyson's real anger came from what the rigging rumors were doing to his legacy. To him, it wasn't just an insult. It was a slap in the face with brass knuckles. Decades of dominance in the ring were now being questioned, all because of a viral fight script that read like a rejected Rocky sequel. Behind the scenes, whispers grew louder. Insiders hinted at a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, tied to the fight, the kind stamped with bold, all-caps warnings that mean business. If true, this NDA would have strictly barred anyone from casting doubt on the fight's legitimacy. Yet, Jake Paul just couldn't help himself. On his podcast, he casually claimed he had eased off during the fight, as if he were some merciful boxing god giving Tyson a pass. It wasn't just cocky, it was potentially NDA-breaking cocky. Sources suggested Tyson wasn't about to let this slide. If that NDA was real, Jake might have just crossed a line thicker than Tyson's boxing gloves. But this wasn't just about one fight, it was about protecting a legacy built over decades. And Jake Paul? He seemed all too eager to drag it through the mud, for clicks, clout, and controversy.
Welcome back to The Pain Game. Today we're going to talk Darren Till versus Tommy Fury / John Fury, of course. But first, some more important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them. You know, I really did. I thought that Mike Tyson, especially Iron Mike, he was just going to go in there and knock Jake clean out. But here he is, not trying. I'm so disappointed in him. But you don't need to take it from me.
The fight itself only poured gasoline on the fire. Statistically, Jake Paul dominated, landing 78 punches to Tyson's mere 18. On paper, it looked like a boxing clinic. But there was one glaring issue. This was Mike Tyson, a man who used to flatten legends with fewer punches than that, even on an off night. Watching him struggle to land clean shots felt surreal, like seeing Superman lose a wrestling match to SpongeBob. And yet, ringside footage told a different story. From the crowd's perspective, the punches looked brutal, raw, and undeniably real. Tyson didn't seem like a man following a script. He looked like a fighter waging war against time itself, his body refusing to obey the demands of his mind. His once iconic bob and weave had slowed to a sluggish shuffle, and his punches had all the speed of a buffering YouTube video. Even Tyson admitted something was off, confessing that he blanked out mid-fight. That revelation only fueled more speculation. Was it exhaustion? Age? Or something deeper that no one saw coming? Whatever the cause, Tyson's lackluster performance didn't just spark doubt, it breathed new life into conspiracy theories. Yet, the simplest explanation was the hardest to accept. The unstoppable march of time had finally caught up with Iron Mike.